Alright, welcome to file number 1 of video number 1. This is being filmed on an old little handheld Panasonic camera, mainly because it has zoom and it also has a stereo 3.5mm input jack, which allows me to have this microphone over top that's got a fluffy on it, as well as being able to use a single channel Rode Wireless 1 Go. Go 1? Rode Wireless Go 1. These videos are for the simpler ideas. Looks to be some sort of rollerblading event down at the local park. That looks pretty fun. Initially I was just going out to the shed to grab out a part to work on a project, but I decided I was going to take some of this stuff out. And so while taking this out, I remembered I haven't actually finished setting up the laser engraver out here. And I'll need a remote into the computer to do that. Oh, that's great. This box of cables has an Ethernet cable in it. It's a terrible angle. That's just as bad. Alright. Run a network cable. I just realized I'm going to need to set up power. I'm going to leave that stuff alone, actually. I don't want to deal with that. I just realized I've actually got quite a bit I need to do. I need to get a multi-box so I can set up power. Then I need to connect the mouse and keyboard. And I also need to connect the laser engraver to it. But that is not possible at this stage. I'm still working on other parts. So I was just filming for another project, but I really want to get rid of this Xbox. So I thought I'd take this time to quickly pull this apart. Alright, just thought I'd quickly skip over that part. So this is the external Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antenna, I believe. Yep, Wi-Fi, which means it'll definitely have Bluetooth. Oh. Alright. Starting to change up the size a little bit. Try and keep those normal consumers out of this. Oh, it's falling apart. I haven't undone everything yet. Hang on a minute, hang on. Hold on there, buddy. Hold on. Yay, unplugged it. Now. Oof, gross. What is this? Oh, it's a 1 terabyte mobile hard drive. It's not bad. How's it attached? Another Torx bit. What size is that though? Is that bigger than it is, isn't it? Oh no. So that was the same as the external screws. It was only that Wi-Fi card that seems to have different size screws. This hard drive will simply be added to my pile of other 2.5-inch hard drives. I might end up putting a clean operating system on it just for testing computers and stuff. Sometimes it's super useful. But there's nothing special about this hard drive. Just a standard one you'd find in any old laptop. This is a Seagate mobile hard drive, 1 terabyte. Yeah, yep, that's it. Pretty standard, pretty basic. Neat little cable. Could use that in a future build. As for this CD drive is pretty useless to me. Same with the rest of this. Well, I don't know, power might be... Oh, it's still screwed in. My bad, I missed a screw. Yeah, I think I'll take out all these two. Oh, they're a different size, of course. Don't want a consumer to accidentally unscrew the APU. Right, now that I've done a few more things, maybe even this. No, we've got the power supply out. Disconnect that. What does this say? Oh, this is 12 volts at 10 amp. That's really useful. So I'm going to keep this power supply for future projects. Now, I've undone everything, but everything isn't just falling out, so I'd say I'm missing something. What am I missing here? Maybe it's that. No. It's probably something really simple. Oh. Oh no, that's not it. That's just the screw I took out. I'm going to just need to pull it up. Yeah. So... Whew, this is a dusty board. Which is pretty normal. But let's see, where is the thingy holding everything in right now? Because I can't seem to get it out. I'm just going to pry it off with a screwdriver. Already broke off a few resistors. Okay, that's not working out. Okay, what's going on here? What am I missing here? Just gonna start breaking things. Look at that, broke that up. Just tells me something's connected around there. There's nothing to... Okay, so this is connected here. That's fine, I'll break that off. What else is connected? That's there. Break that off. Ah, there we go! Okay, so there were some things around the edge that were still connected. As for this... Let's see. I think there's something that was spilt on this Xbox. Yeah. Yep. There's some sort of... There's some crud all over these circuits here. Here. Ew. Ew, gross. Yeah. Something was spilt on this Xbox. Why is this? There we go. And that's how you remove the heatsink, which is also something I'm going to keep. Heatsink's very useful. As for the rest of this board, I don't really care, so I guess I'll just see what's going on under here. Looks pretty cool. Oh, that part looks cooler. In fact, if it wasn't for that... Oh yeah, that looks sick. Okay, I might do something or I'll cut this out. Turn this into some artwork, that. Because look at the shiny Xbox thing there, see? It says Xbox on there and it's super shiny. And these wires, oh my goodness, look at that. Absolutely fabulous. It's art. This is an art form, this. See? Look at that. Each of those are basically on an individual wire which goes to all of the pins on this APU. And then look at all the, what are these, resistors and stuff on the back, probably some diodes, whole lot of stuff going on the back. But look at this presentation, it's great. And the reason why these have so many like squiggly jaggedy bits is because a bunch of them, they need to arrive here at the same time between these two places, and the only way for that to happen is for these lengths to be the same. So even though this is physically closer, the length from this one to there is the same as this one to there. Now, almost feel bad for just shoving a screwdriver into this because it looks absolutely remarkable. This is quite a piece of art, honestly. Oh, happy to have pulled that apart. That was enjoyable, quite enjoyable. I'll sit this over here. Now that that's finally being pulled apart, I'm going to grab all the excess pieces, everything I don't want. It's all going in the Pretty slow morning today. I've got a friend coming over and I'm going to be using disc drill. And I'm going to be using disc drill to help him recover some files. His daughter accidentally deleted a time-lapse file, so I'll leave the computer running all day just recovering that file, and I'll be off to work quite soon after that and complete a day of work. So right now I'm just repairing a GoPro file for a friend. Somehow it got really badly corrupted just from his daughter accidentally deleting it. I put this phone on charge because half of the touchscreen doesn't actually work, but the camera and everything else on it is still fine. So I was thinking I could use this phone in situations where I don't really want to risk damaging a good camera, because while part of it is slightly damaged, the rest of it is fine. Just getting the dishes done. Usually do this. There. Got my phone here. Another phone for the cameras, and I got my Bluetooth headphones on. Take this opportunity just to throw in a quick little rant. I've been making a simple little TikTok series where I'm using this jug of water and it's pumping through a pad that's in the bed to try and help cool us down. And over the back here in the window, I have a basic thermal exchange, which is hopefully cooling that water down and helping us sleep a lot more comfortably. And in retrospect, it does cool the water down quite nicely, and we do feel it. We're able to sleep comfortably with it, and without it, it's actually quite hot and uncomfortable. But the problem here is that that thermal exchange is just not powerful enough. It's not able to actually transfer enough heat fast enough that we're able to hop into bed and actively feel it cooling the bed. You don't notice it. You really don't notice it until it's gone. And that's exactly how it feels. And I was trying really hard to only use stuff that I've already got. But I've ended up ordering in a new water pump, and I'm looking at some cooling system. There was one cooling system. It was for an aquarium, so it's actually designed to run how I'm wanting to run this. But you know, it's all up to. I'll figure it out. Hopefully, I figure it out before it gets to winter and it's too cold and I need to start heating things, which is going to be easy. I'm just going to use an electric blanket to heat things. There's no reason to try and heat the water to then heat the bed. It gets too complicated, and an electric blanket is an already well-established tool that warms and cools the bed. And an electric blanket is an already well-established tool that warms the bed. So why break what isn't broken? Why fix what isn't broken?
To set up the NGP environment.
For lunch I'm having this
and then now that the installation is
icicle
complete,
thing.
And
And
we've copied our data set over
I'm just
already.
watching a video on some software that I'm interested in, and I might do that. And I often
Run the
actually
previous step
do
on it.
that.
We're going to get right to the fun part and go to the test bed. Replace name with whatever you called your data set. So in this case,
Of course, by that I mean, I'm often on GitHub and I'll be browsing around and trying out different software and stuff that communities and people have come up with. They come up with some really cool stuff, and especially the AI stuff. I've been playing with that a lot and running as much as I can locally, which is what that video is on, running a system locally, which is how I prefer my AI.
into this playground. So while it's doing that, you can start looking around already.
Admittedly, I don't really share my results.
We're missing right here.
Alright, just gotten back from the shops and I thought, you know what, I want to do just my little part for the programming community in case someone comes across this issue in the future. Now, what I was having a problem with was trying to run Python. So whenever I try to run Python, it would say Python was not found, run without blah, blah, blah. But of course, everyone knows, you come up and you go into the edit environmental variables path, and then you can add Python there, which I have done. The problem, the real problem, was in here. You need to go into settings, apps, and we come into advanced app settings, app exclusion aliases, then you scroll down to Python and also Python 3, and you got to turn those off as shown in this post that I found on a random super user page. Thank you, Carl Upton, in 2023. Oh. So that was actually quite a recent thing. So thanks to that guy, that helped me out. Anyway, back to playing with this codeine. Wow, that looks absolutely nuts. This is my first interaction with Nerf specifically. I've done photogrammetry and stuff, but Nerf is Nerf. It's Nerf or nothing, eh? You know, this is great. I would like to be able to read the sign, because I did get a close up of the sign, and I mean, just looking at this, you can see how clear and easy it is to read the signs, the main entrance thing there. Let's see. So according to this lost bar here, we're actually almost at the point of finalizing the training. You can almost read that says main entry. And you can almost make out that says hospital. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to be playing with stuff like that just for fun. There's not really a lot you could do with this. It's way too unclear. I should be able to, you know, read this main entry thing. But in terms of exploration, this could be quite an interesting tool. I'm thinking maybe I could find some footage where I've explored somewhere, and then I'll take out every bit where we've moved anything, or if our backpack is in the shot, or if we're in the shot, and I'll take all of that out. Anything that moves will be taken out, and then I'll just throw it at this and see if it actually basically turns it into a 3D model of the area, because I have explored a couple of places that are no longer let's just say in the you can explore this place list. Oh look, if you get on just the right angle, you can see Waikato Hospital and main entry. Can't quite make out the giveaway, but no, it's getting there. And I mean this is, you know, new technology. It's still in development and stuff, so I'd say we're gonna get there to being able to see that finer detail. It's always about time, because there is another method called Gaussian splatting, I think it is, which is significantly higher detail and way better and stuff. But I'm specifically trying this out because I want it to be as quick as possible. Gaussian splatting, I think it takes like an hour for it to actually load that through, and honestly by that point, after an hour, the results that you get from it just aren't good enough for the kind of things I want to do with it. So getting really quick and really good quality 3D scenes out of a few images is going to be the ideal. I'm hoping I'll be able to feed the system about 12 high-resolution images, and it will be able to recreate that situation and scenario accurately enough that I'll be able to use it on live TV. Now, that's not happening anytime soon. We can see that from this. It's quite obvious that there's a bit of time waiting, because, you know, this is going to have faces in it and it needs to be at least TV quality, and this is, as low as the TV quality standard is, this is not quite there. Though I have seen much lower quality stuff used on TV a little too often. Now, you might be wondering, what am I actually doing here? Well, the goal is that using this simple ESP32, I'll be able to put this in either of the cars that we have here. So when we get home, it has an internal timer counting how long it's been on for, which is synced to Home Assistant. And when Home Assistant gets a low number, it'll know that the car is still at home and going to be leaving the house. With this information, it'll know that it can trigger a leaving the house automation, make sure that all the doors are closed and locked and all the lights are off. Of course, if any of that is invalid, meaning a door is open and or unlocked, then I'll get a notification telling me, hey, there's a door still open, don't leave the house yet. Previously, what people have done is they've just set up the GPS on their phone, but I don't have unlimited data and it uses extra battery, blah, blah, blah. This is easier because the car's running, it's already going to be on, and I am primarily looking at the status of the car. As a secondary, I've also added a little button which will turn on a little light on the ESP, and that will be to trigger the, when I get home, do a certain automation. By default, I'm going to have it turn on the outside lights when you get home, but the button is there so that I can add extra things if needed. I could also add just a simple momentary button, so when you get home, you can then press the button and that will trigger the automation. Either way, both options are going to be available. I don't know, for some reason this seems to be a lot more difficult than I initially thought, and I've even started using ChatGPT, but it's just throwing my own code back at me after going through a massive loop cycle of its code failing. So, not quite sure what's going on there, but I'll explain it to you basically. I've got two buttons on this ESP32. You push button 1, it turns on an LED, so LED is on. Push button 1 again, it should turn the LED off. And it's not. I didn't think it was that difficult of a thing. On top of that, I do want to know and have it report on Home Assistant when that LED is turning off and on. But that doesn't seem to be working. If I really can't get that to work, then I'll simply just have like a binary sensor on the pin next to the one that I'm using for the LED, and then I'll just solder that pin to the pin that's controlling the LED. Boom. Instantly solved via hardware. Okay, LED is off. Now the LED's on, and if I touch it again, it should turn off. See, look, LED sending state off. It should be off, and it's not turning off because something has been made overcomplicated. Hey, there we go. Okay, so now that's turned on, and that's running. Simplified that a little bit. Let's see. Oh. Hey. Yeah. 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 Okay, so it's finally doing exactly what I needed it to do. Let's see what's so different. I can delete. Just doing some cleaning up in the shed, and gotta get the electric scooter out. So I thought, I don't know, I'll video it. it doesn't really have reverse because I'm changing some things. So I'm going to make some changes to the system at some point in the near future. So it doesn't have reverse, nor am I trying to fix it. So I go put it in reverse and then I gotta give it a little bit of a touch. Oh, what was that? So the future plans for that is, rather than having this radio controller do everything, so it's just a bunch of servos and relays on the other end, this controller is actually what's doing all of the deciding when and which relay to turn off and on as it goes along. So I'm going to change it to a Wi-Fi board and see if I can use a better controller for it. Something a little simpler and cheaper as well. This was an expensive controller. So definitely got to change that out. And in doing that, I'm going to move everything from the head of the scooter all the way down to the boot of the scooter, where its main controller is. It does mean I'm going to have to find some very specific parts that are up in the head here, because I'd rather replicate it rather than physically take out a couple of the pieces there, because they actually hold some other pieces in place. But yeah, that's future plans. That's not important right now. Oh, that's right, no reverse. Actually, now seeing that driving, there are some other repairs that I'm going to have to end up doing to it, but that's fine, because once I do actually make those changes, then I'll be able to use this megaphone that's up here, you know, turn the light off and on remotely. I need to tighten up the bolt for that light. And I'll be able to, you know, make it so that these buttons actually do something again. They used to do something, but just the way I built the system, they interfered with each other and it stopped working. But eventually, the whole thing's basically going to be rebuilt, at least electrically. Physically, it's pretty much going to stay the same. I was thinking of just completely removing the head of it, but I'll do that after I've rebuilt it and stuff, just to see what it's like and to play with.
Now to bring it back in. Oh, there we go. Oh, careful, careful. Right. No. No. And these two. Here's one. What's this for? Oh, not what I'm... Oh, is it copper? Oh, it's copper. Copper will do. Right, that's all I need.
So, here in the bedroom, got the music playing, of course, synchronized with the Google speaker that's in the kitchen, which is, of course, synchronized with the Chromecast in the living room. And now I'm going to turn on my JBL speakers, headphones that are connected to my phone. And are they on? Hopefully everything's just going to transfer to the headphones. Okay. To get that? Okay. Okay, I feel a bit silly because it took ages for that to happen, but that's not because of the system or anything. That's purely because my phone is dying. It's a few years old, and it's had problems with the Bluetooth and the 4G on this ever since I got it. Everyone else around me will have a full signal for cellular connections, and I'll have one bar and I'll barely be able to load pictures or anything. So 99% of the time when I'm out and about and actually actively using the internet, I'm actually hotspotting it off of another phone, because this phone sucks. And for some reason it wasn't able to see the headphones until I manually told it to connect, and then it failed, and then it connected. Because yeah, that's what this phone is like. I'll get a new one eventually though. So I was just changing all the music over to my headphones, which is usually just the case of me picking up my headphones. As I'm picking them up, I'm turning them on, and by the time I actually put them on, they're on, connected with the music playing, and everything else stops. I have everything else on for when I'm just picking things up and doing laundry and stuff, but I wear these headphones for when I'm doing the vacuuming, because of course, well, I just want to hear it clearly. I want to enjoy the music, and it helps vacuuming go by really quickly. At some point in the near future, I'm going to grab this bookshelf and put it over here, and I'm going to take the backing of the bottom shelf out so that I can have all the cables and stuff sit in there, and I might even just move it forward a bit so that everything can sit in behind it, and then the camera screen can be moved up to maybe about this high, just something a little more eye level so that we can actually see it, because it's so close to the ground right now. Now I'm going to head out, and I'm going to take down the light strips that I put up for Christmas. I was really lazy and didn't get around to actually taking them down. But I'm definitely taking them down now, because I'm going to use them to, I'm going to put lights and stuff on underneath the couch. Should look cool. take a couple as I need them. It's temporary, but it'll do for now.
Today I worked on a little project, getting the RGB in under the couch.
That's up on the TikTok channel, hopefully before this one. Maybe after, I don't know. This one's low effort, low editing, so might go up before or might go up after. Don't know. But it's running pretty smoothly, doing pretty well. Might put some LEDs elsewhere, because I've also got some up there. Might put some on maybe the back of the TV, that's a pretty common place. Maybe something underneath, or even on the back of the speakers or something. So I was just editing the lights under the couch video for TikTok, and now I'm getting ready to go to work. So I have a backpack that I take to work. It's got a phone charger, power bank, cables, a couple of little snacks, some chewing gum, and then I've got a couple things in there that I'll, you know, a little bit of cleaning, you know, wipe the desks down and stuff like that while I'm sitting there doing not a lot. And yeah, also take a spare jersey, plain black if I can't find my uniform or if I'm not doing an important job or something. I'm sure this video's been pretty choppy. Don't worry, this is number one. I'm sure eventually if I get to having the right feelings about it and stuff, I'll put a little more effort into the edit. But as it is, I want this to be a very low effort edit. So I'm not doing transition stuff like that. So the video's up. It's already gotten about 50 views, but only 1 like, of course. It's not a very good video. To be totally honest, it was more of just like a vloggy sort of thing, just showing the process I went through setting up those lights. Anyway, good news. I finally got the battery indicator for this camera in the mail. So yeah, I'm gonna solder that on and then I'll actually be able to know how much battery is left in this camera, because it's got two 18650 batteries that are connected to a case on the bottom of the camera, which then goes into its power input. So as far as the camera knows, it's plugged into the wall, which is not very useful information for me because I want to know how much longer I've got on these batteries. So yeah, just a really super simple little indicator here. Just tells you low, 25, 50, 75 and 100%. This is made for two 18650 batteries. I specifically got it for this. And yeah, I'm just gonna solder it to the back of the camera and see how it goes. There we go. Now I've got that little indicator set up on the back. I can see that the battery for this is low, so I will be changing up the batteries shortly. But I could finally actually see how much battery's left, which means I can start estimating how much time the camera has left that it can actually record for. So that's great. Already working on the next video. Got some rainbow lights going on. This one is going to be interesting because it's even more useless and strange. Forgot to give you a little update, but here's the timeline for this RGB microwave project. So I've gone through, I've trimmed out all the fat and sped up a couple little bits. So I had about 2 hours worth of footage sitting here that I've trimmed down. And that's been whittled down to about 12 minutes. Now I'm going to need to cut this right back down so that it's only, let's go for about 2 minutes, which should be able to encompass, you know, the explanation of what I'm doing, what I'm using, why I'm using it, the build, the fail, the rebuild, then the succession, then of course showing it off. Now I'm going to do some shots at daytime and I'm waiting till tonight so I can do some shots tonight, because the interior lights that I put in the microwave aren't really that bright, so you can't even see that they're on, especially at daytime, in a room that has no curtains and the sun shining in. So I'm gonna have to do that. I have programmed in a few little bits so that the lights go green when the microwave is finished cooking, and some other effects, as you'll see in the video. And with my second quick pass, I'm down to 6 minutes from 12, from 2 hours. So last night I got a whole lot of B-roll of the microwave working. It's got some crazy colourful shots. I thought I'd show you a little bit of my editing process. I'm not going to do any commentary or anything. I'm just going to keep editing. Cool.
Then I picked some LEDs that were pre-loved. Got this old little came up with the basic wiring diagram and cut the strips to length. I came up with a basic wiring diagram and cut the strips to length. God. Oh. Were pre-loved. I came up with a basic wiring diagram and cut the strips to length. Searching through my electronics boxes, I'm able to pull out a D1 Mini and program that with WLED.
searching through my electronics boxes. I'm able to pull out a D1 Mini and program that with WLED. LED. Using my simple diagram, I was able... Okay, this part's a little more difficult. Then I... soldered the circuits together. Should be enough. And programmed that with WLED. Soldered the circuits together. And there we go. All 141 with WLED. Okay, I'll say then it's on to soldering the circuits together. Then it's on to soldering the circuits together. And then it's on to soldering the circuits together. Then it's on to soldering the circuits together. LED. Then it's on to soldering the circuits together. All 100 135. 135. Go. All 141. I'll actually try to say. All 141 LED. On to soldering the circuits together. And there we go. All 141. All 135 LEDs. Block my ears. All 135 LEDs working. Turn that to shortcuts.
And there we go. All 135. And there we go. All 135 LEDs working.
Oh, what the heck? Why do I sound so weird? All 136, no, 35. And there we go. All 135 LEDs working. Okay.
And there we go.
All 135 LEDs working. So let's see. Next, I need to grab the microwave and pull it apart. A couple of circuits to add into this. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can come up with the fly on this one. And there we go, all 135 LEDs working. Next, I need to head out and grab the microwave so that I can pull it apart and figure out how I'm actually going to wire all of this into it. The LEDs are going to react depending on what the microwave is doing, so I'm adding an extra relay just for that extra control. Is there anything else I want to add there? There's a relay just for that extra added control. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Next, I need to head out and grab the microwave so that I can pull it apart and figure out how I'm actually going to wire all of this into it. The LEDs are going to react depending on what the microwave is doing. So wow, that's frickin' spot on, absolutely perfectly lined up. The LEDs are going to react. The LEDs are going to react. So that's where this clip can come in, are going to react. Okay, so I'll do that clip, that clip. That clip is dead, are going to react. Let's see. I've also added a little switch in the back just so that the original light can still be used. Ugh. I've also added a little switch at the back just so that the original light can still be used.
also added a little switch at the back. Control. I've also added a little switch at the back just so that the original control. I've also added a little switch at the back just so that also added a little switch at the back just so that the original light can still be used. Switch at the back just so that the original light can still be used. Switch at the back just so that the original light can still be used.
Right. The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying... The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying up the wiring inside the microwave. I also have a set that goes all the way around the bottom of the I also have a set of LED. I also have an LED strip that goes all the way around the bottom of the microwave. I also have an LED strip that goes all the way around the bottom of the microwave. And then what was it after that? I'll stop it there. The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying... The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying up the wiring inside the microwave. I also have an LED strip that goes all the way around the bottom of the microwave.
The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying up the wiring inside the microwave. I also have an Now to put it back together and put it back in its place. And on first inspection, everything looked all right and the LEDs were working. But I did notice that for some reason, the turntable inside, as well as the extraction fan, were running, which meant I had to take it out, pull it apart, figure out what was going on inside the microwave, where I had to add an additional momentary switch, and then I was finally able to put it all back together and put it back in place. Now I have a working RGB microwave. Yeah, that's a good lead. Okay, now to put it back together and put it back in its place. Okay, so I've got the tool there. So that clip will go in there and put it back in its place. So that clip. Okay. Alright. There. Start with it. And on first inspection, everything looked all right. Oh, fixed it. That might be a good shot. And on first inspection, everything looked all right and the LEDs. And on first inspection, everything looked all right and the LED. Perfect. but I did notice that for some reason the turntable inside as well as the extraction fan were running. Were running, which meant I had to take it out, pull it. Had to take it out, pull it apart. Pull it apart. We're running, which means I had to take it out. Pull it apart, figure out what was going on inside the microwave. Then I was finally able to put it all back together and put it back in. Momentary switch, and then I was finally able to put it all back together and put it back in place. Now I have a working and put it back in place. Now switch, and then I was finally able to put it all back together and put it back in place. Now and put it back in place. Now I have a working RG. Now I have a working RGB microwave. 2 minutes that video's totaled out to. Took it down from about 2.5 hours of content, because some of it I hadn't added or filmed yet when I initially showed it. And now I've cut it right down to about 2 minutes of basically a highlight reel. So let me have a good little watch. Why would anyone want RGB in their microwave? You might be wondering, does this microwave even function anymore? Why would anyone want RGB in their microwave? You might be wondering, does this microwave even function anymore? And to answer that, yes, it's a perfectly normal working microwave. Wrong channel. You might be wondering, does this microwave even function anymore? And wondering, does this microwave even function anymore? And to answer that, yes, it's a perfectly normal working microwave. I began the process by taking some measurements, both inside and out of the microwave. Then I picked some LEDs that were pre-loved. I came up with a basic wiring diagram and cut the strips to length. Searching through my electronics boxes, I'm able to pull out a D1 Mini and program that with WLED. Then it's on to soldering the circuits together. And there we go, all 130 D1 Mini and program that with WLED. Then it's on to soldering the circuits together. And there we go, all 135 LEDs working. Next, I need to head out and grab the microwave so that I can pull it apart and figure out how I'm actually going to wire all of this into it. The LEDs are going to react depending on what the microwave is doing, so I'm adding an extra relay just for that extra control. I've also added a little switch at the back just so that the original light can still be used. The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying up the wiring inside the microwave. I also have an LED strip that goes all the way around the bottom of the microwave. Now to put it back together, all the way around the bottom of the microwave. Need to center that a little bit. There we go, that's good. Goes all the way around the bottom of the microwave. Now to put it back together and put it back in its place. And on first inspection, everything looked all right and the LEDs were working. But I did notice that for some reason, the turntable inside, as well as the extraction fan, were running, which meant I had to take it out, pull it apart, figure out what was going on inside the microwave, where I had to add an additional momentary switch, and then I was finally able to put it all back together and put it back in place. Now I have a working RGB microwave. Why would anyone want RGB in their microwave? You might be wondering, does this microwave even function anymore? And to answer that, yes, it's a... Okay, touch of music.
Hey, it's me.
That sounds terrible. Why would anyone want RGB in their microwave? You might be wondering, does this microwave even function anymore? And to answer that, yes, it's a perfectly normal working microwave. I began the process by taking some measurements, both inside and out of the microwave. Then I picked some LEDs that were pre-loved. I came up with a basic wiring diagram and cut the strips to length. Searching through my electronics boxes, I'm able to pull out a D1 Mini and program that with WLED. Then it's on to soldering the circuits together. And there we go, all 135 LEDs working. Next, I need to head out and grab the microwave so that I can pull it apart and figure out how I'm actually going to wire all of this into it. The LEDs are Would anyone want RGB in their microwave? You might be wondering, does this microwave even function anymore? And to answer that, yes, it's a perfectly normal working microwave. I began the process by taking some measurements, both inside and out of the microwave. Then I picked some LEDs that were pre-loved. I came up with a basic wiring diagram and cut the strips to length. Searching through my electronics boxes, I'm able to pull out a D1 Mini and program that with WLED. Then it's on to soldering the circuits together. And there we go, all 135 LEDs working. Next, I need to head out and grab the microwave so that I can pull it apart and figure out how I'm actually going to wire all of this into it. The LEDs are going to react depending on what the microwave it is doing. So I'm adding an extra relay just for that extra control. I've also added a little switch at the back just so that the original light can still be used. The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying up the wiring inside the microwave. I also have an LED strip that goes all the way around the bottom of the microwave. Now to put it back together and put it back in its place. And on first inspection, everything looked all right and the LEDs were working. But I did notice that for some reason, the turntable inside, as well as the extraction fan, were running, which meant I had to take it out, pull it apart, figure out what was going on inside the microwave, where I had to add an additional momentary switch, and then I was finally able to put it all back together and put it back in place. Now, I have a working RGB microwave. Back in place. Now, in place. Now I have a working RGB microwave. Why would anyone want RGB in their microwave? You might be wondering, does this microwave even function anymore? And to answer that, yes, it's a perfectly normal working microwave. I began the process by taking some measurements, both inside and out of the microwave. Then I picked some LEDs that were pre-loved. I came up with a basic wiring diagram and cut the strips to length. Searching through my electronics boxes, I'm able to pull out a D1 Mini and program that with WLED. Then it's on to soldering the circuits together. And there we go, all 135 LEDs working. Next, I need to head out and grab the microwave so that I can pull it apart and figure out how I'm actually going to wire all of this into it. The LEDs are going to react depending on what the microwave is doing, so I'm adding an extra relay just for that extra control. I've also added a little switch at the back just so that the original light can still be used. The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying up the wiring inside the microwave. I also have an LED strip that goes all the way around the bottom of the microwave. Now to put it back together and put it back in its place. And on first inspection, everything looked all right and the LEDs were working. But I did notice that for some reason, the turntable inside, as well as the extraction fan, were running, which meant I had to take it out, pull it apart, figure out what was going on inside the microwave, where I had to add an additional momentary switch, and then I was finally able to put it all back together and put it back in place. Now I have a working RGB microwave. Take it out, pull it apart, figure out what was going on inside the microwave, where I had to add an additional momentary switch, and then I was finally able to put it all back together and put it back in place. Now I have a working RGB microwave. Why would anyone want RGB in their microwave? You might be wondering, does this microwave even function anymore? And to answer that, yes, it's a perfectly normal working microwave. I began the process by taking some measurements, both inside and out of the microwave. Then I picked some LEDs that were pre-loved. I came up with a basic wiring diagram. I came up with a basic wiring diagram and cut the strips to length. Searching through my electronics boxes, I'm able to pull out a D1 Mini and program that with electronics boxes, I'm able to pull out a D1 Mini and program that with WLED. Then it's on to soldering the circuits together. And there we go, all 135 LEDs working. Next, I need to head out and grab the microwave so that I can pull it apart and figure out how I'm actually going to wire all of this into it. The LEDs are going to react depending on what the microwave is doing, so I'm adding an extra relay just for that extra control. I've also added a little switch at the back just so that the original light can still be used. The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying up the wiring inside the microwave. I also have an LED strip that goes all the way around the bottom of the microwave. Now to put it back together and put it back in its place. And on first inspection, everything looked all right and the LEDs were working. But I did notice... Now to...
Putting a random morph cut in there just for no reason at all. Settings I do, upload it to TikTok. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for the audio. That music, I specifically Googled it up and went to TikTok's site to find music that they don't copyright strike because it's part of their creators package or whatever it is. And that's pretty much the end of that. The rest of the process is using the microwave, I guess. It's also quite possible that I'll just disable the LEDs that are in it and I'll never use it and look at it again. But I did it for a video, and that was the whole point. Yeah, there was a ton more content in there, and I did think about splitting it up into 2 to 3 parts. But I don't really like splitting up my videos like that too much. And, you know, this is just a fun little thing. Well, it was meant to be a fun little thing that turned out to be a lot bigger and take a lot more time. But it is what it is. I don't have a specific maximum video length that I'll upload, so this will do. But there are other things that I've done multi-part series for, but that's because they've been much bigger and taken up a lot more time. Whereas this has taken me maybe, I'm going to say 5 to 6 hours of editing. And then I'm going to say maybe 12 hours of work. You know, that's including all the soldering, circuit design, I don't know, grabbing the microwave, pulling it apart. I mean, it's not a difficult task. It wasn't a difficult thing to do. There's just lots and lots of tedious parts of it. Lots of bits and bobs that you got to work around and figure out how you can take things away from the original microwave circuit but still have it function and act exactly the same as it would from the factory. And that's really the part that took up a surprising amount of time, because previous microwaves in the past, they've just been easier to figure out their circuits and stuff, whereas this one had a couple momentary switches that were essentially reversed, which just tripped me up a little bit along the way, which is why the Lazy Susan, the plate in there was still rotating and the extraction fan was on and running, simply because I'd inverted a circuit, not knowing and not checking, which was my mistake. I should have double checked everything. But yeah, my main focus was making sure that the electron gun wasn't going to be firing or anything when the doors and stuff were open. So I guess I saw the plate rotation and the extraction fan as a secondary thing. You know, it's not something that's going to cause any harm or anything to a person when they're using it. So they weren't really at the front of my mind. But of course, got it solved in the end anyway. I ended up having to add a momentary switch. I didn't want to do that. I really didn't want to have to add it how I did. But I did, and it works fine. So hopefully it'll work forevermore, I guess. And then when it dies, I'll blow it up if I can. Soldering the circuits together.
So now that the file's on my phone, I've got it in the TikTok app.
Next,
I usually
need
just
to
sit
get out
here,
and grab
I'll watch
the
it at
microwave
least
so I
once,
can
just
pull
to
it
make sure
apart
that
and
all the
figure
audio
out how I'm actually
and
going to wire
everything
all
you
this into
see
it.
is
The LEDs are going to
at
react
least kind of what
depending
I
on what
want
the
it to be.
microwave is doing. So I'm adding an extra relay just for that extra control. I've also added a little switch at the back just so that the original light can still be used. The rest of the time was spent installing the LEDs and tidying up the wiring inside the microwave. I also have an LED strip that goes all the way around the bottom of the microwave. Now to put it back together and put it back in its place. And on first inspection, everything looked alright and the LEDs were working. But I did notice that for some reason, the turntable inside, as well as the extraction fan, were running.
I wonder
which
if
meant
people
I
are
had
going
to
to
take it out,
ask
pull it
about the
apart,
electron gun
figure
at
out
that point.
what
You
was
know, this
going
part,
on
the part that
inside
actually
the
does the
microwave, where I had to
microwaving.
add an additional momentary switch.
I mean, I
and
knew
then
that
I was
wasn't
finally
on,
able to
one,
put
because
it
it makes
all
a
back
pretty
together
specific sound, and I'm sure
and
most
put it
people
back in
know what
place.
that sounds
Now,
like.
I have a
And also
working
because the lights would have been
RGB
reacting
microwave.
differently.
Why would anyone want
And
RGB?
absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, so that worked out well. So now I will pick a better cover image, which is probably going to be something from the very beginning, unless I pick that one. That might be interesting. Showing LEDs. This is mostly about the LEDs here. Maybe that. That's an interesting one. But it is all about the microwave. I should probably have it like this. Oh, yeah. And I'll just put on here something like microwave pizza even. Microwave pizza! A little pizza image. Always give it a slight rotation. Make it a little bit bigger. I like to push it right to the edge, just so that it takes up the most real estate possible. Save. Now, as for hashtags, let's see, I'll go full video. Ling video. That's meant to be long video. My bad. Home decor. Lights. WLED. Light strip. LED lights. DIY. Electronics. And so I'll add microwave. And I'll probably go unnecessary. S-S-E-S-A-R-Y, I think. Unnecessary. What's one more? I kind of want one more tag in there. You know what? That's fine. So got microwave pizza cover. So got like home decor. Oh, I know what. I'll put the what was it? Living in car? Living in car? I'll put the brand of the microwave in there, you know. See what they think of it. Oh yeah, so it's living and car. And car. Living and car. Oh, first one to use that. Oh no, I don't think it. Stuff it. Let's just go for NZ. NZ. And yep, post.
This is a really long first video, but the video is about to come to an end. See, I've got two rack mount network switches here, and I'm going to grab another one that's even smaller. Got the few different sizes. And I'm just doing a little test, a little check with some IP cameras. I'm just going to see if I can sync them up in a very specific way. which I'm not going to bother about initially, but just getting everything working is basically my main goal today. For that, just plug it in, test it out, let's see if things can work. Now, what I'm doing is I am going to have a go at the instant nerf from NVIDIA. Quite interested in that, to turn, you know, a few photos into a 3D scene, essentially. Where? Oh. There it is. Everything seems to be using the same network standards and stuff. What am I even saying? I'm sorry, I'm trying to fill space, but I forget sometimes that this is minimal edited video vlog time. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing a good little handful of network patch leads. I only need short, at least for now, just for the initial testing of some things. I'm also going to need power. So I need an IEC lead. There we go. And I think I'll want one network lead that is not incredibly short. Now, there's a stack of them in here. These are all 20 meters though. Oh well, 20 meters it is. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. It's just going to be sitting on the table. And now, okay, and also a box of security cameras and security camera parts. So these are all old cameras, you know, like a couple of them I brought brand new. These are just the cameras that I use for this kind of thing, so that I don't have to, you know, always have to buy another camera just to do one little thing. So I've got a good handful of security cameras in this box, as well as a couple more on a shelf. And so what I'm going to do is connect up a decent handful of these cameras, ones that have decent image quality for one, and I'm going to connect them all up to a little NVR. I'm making up a whole little network here just for everything to run on. So I'll use the cameras there, connect them up to the network here. I'm going to set up my laptop. I got it in my laptop bag here. So I'll leave my laptop there to be set up and stuff. So now I'm going to get an NVR, which will do the recording from each of the cameras. Now, the funny thing is I'm doing all of this, and I only need about 5 seconds of footage from each camera. But, in saying that, okay, this is a 16 channel. I do have a 32 channel somewhere, but I don't think it's actually in a box like this. But this is already in the box. Do I have any markings on here? Yep, so this has already got some baseline stuff in it. It's already got a hard drive in it. It's already set up on the account and everything. So this would almost just instantly connect to a handful of the cameras in that box, because they've already been linked up for a previous project. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to turn that little 5-second clip into a nice, clean, clear, concise nerf file, just for a project that I'm working on. And if that is all successful, the work I'm doing here will be used to, I guess, demo this software, this method, to work so that we'll be using it on live TV. And the reason why I'm specifically doing this is because NVIDIA released the Instant Nerf AI processing stuff. So, you know, assuming you've got the right hardware, it will be very, very quick at creating a 3D scene out of a few images. Now, I've seen it be as low as 4 images, but my guess is that those were taken with a very high quality DSLR. So I'm going to just see how things go, really. And I'll update you along the way, probably after I add all of the cameras in, because that's a pretty slow and boring process I don't want to drag out with you. Okay, so here I've got about 6 cameras working. They're just connected to this simple 10-port switch. 8 of the ports have PoE, and 2 of them are just a normal network port. One going to the laptop, and the other one is going to this 16-channel NVR over here. So here are the cameras. I've got this one, 1080p. That's also the other thing, is that I'm making all of them different resolutions because I want to test out if the software is happy enough to take different resolutions. Because if it is, I'm actually able to incorporate more cameras that way and even be able to get a maybe better image. It also depends on shutter angle and stuff like that. So the next step with this is I'm going to essentially have a couple of stands for them, and I'll put them on them, and then I'm going to, I don't know, I'm thinking I'll actually bring it out here, set a couple of them up, like one here, one there, and maybe one there, and I'll just jump off the end of the porch here and see if I can get a freeze frame of me in the air just using, you know, 6 camera angles. If I need to, I can add more, but you know, I want to keep a low number, see how it goes at first. Okay, so please excuse the mess, but I thought I'd turn this into a little bit of a time-lapse bit. I may walk out of the room for a little while and then come back. I'm going to try not to edit too much. And, of course, there's going to be no audio. One, because it'll be a sped-up, noisy mess. Alright, so I've gone through and I've gone into each camera and checked its configuration and everything, and now it's just time to go out and jump. So I've got it full screen and I'm going to open up OBS And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to screen record. I'm going to go out, jump, then I'll just pause it and see what adjustments I need to make to each of the cameras. All right, I'll start recording. Now let's go over to Google Chrome. We're in here. Let's go full screen. Now, all the cameras aren't perfectly synced up, which doesn't matter in this instance because it's just a test and I'm going to manually be doing every step of the way anyway. But synchronization is going to be a very, very important part of the final thing. Anyway, thought I'd bring you with me to experience the jump. And only need to do one per test, that is. Now, let's quickly go in and have a look at this. Oh geez, the camera's only just got it. Oh my gosh. That camera hadn't got it yet. Okay. Things are going very slow here. Okay, stop. Now let's go grab that file. Definitely took my time. Okay, so let's see. Okay, those two are actually in real time. Pause it there. Okay, see, look, whole body in shot, but this higher one, I'm going to need to tilt it up a bit. This one on the side looks like I'm going to need to move it back and tilt it down a little bit. So let's quickly go do that now. Okay, I had a feeling this one was going to be a bit poo. So I'll bring it back to here, and hang on a second. There we go. So I've tilted that down a touch. Now the next one is going to be the one up on this pole, that little guy. Need to tilt that down a touch. I'll just put you down over here. Okay, now let's go in, see what the other cameras need see what other adjustments are needed of the cameras. Right, so, yep, so I've adjusted that one. That one's fine. I've adjusted that one. Let's play. Okay, so these three cameras are almost live, and now these three are gonna hopefully. Oh, there we go. Okay, pause. Okay, so it looks like that one was just right enough, but this bottom one needs to be turned inwards a whole lot. That's easy to do. I might actually just adjust it so that they're both turned inwards a little bit. Now I just need to wait for this one. Look how slow it's going. Okay, yeah, that was fine. All right. Let's just have a quick look. So this one, just need to do a general tilt inwards. I'll do a little extra to this one, just because it specifically needed it. Right. Now for test number 2. Oh look, there I am, adjusting the camera. Don't like how far behind it is, but I am pulling, you know what, I think I'm going to go in and I'll pull the sub in, just so that hopefully it means they're going to be a little bit more in time, because I'm not using this. I'm going to go into the recordings, grab the files themselves, and extract everything. I'm going to do it properly. Okay, let's see, start recording, go into here, go full screen. I'll leave you here this time.
Good enough. Feels silly doing that kind of thing. Anyway. Oh, were they all in time? I think they were all pretty well in time. Because it's just the processing power of my little laptop here. It couldn't keep up with pulling in the full quality images and scaling it down. Cool, that's ready. Let's see. Look at that, they're all pretty well in time. This one's way too low again. This one needs to go up a touch. That's good. That's good. Okay. I think I'm going to ignore that because in the real world, not every camera is going to get a perfect shot. It's still getting detail, and that's the important thing. Stop recording. Here we go. Alright, so I quickly went out, did everything, and let's have a look at the result. Okay, yep, I did adjust this a little bit, but fully in frame, fully in frame, fully in frame, fully in frame, fully in frame. I'm really happy with this. I mean, look, there's a lot of me in frame there, and I'm getting some really good important detail in the top. Now, it's alright that all of the images look a little bit different because I am going to edit them all just so that they're all, you know, the same color, the same greens, the same grays, the same blues in the sky, you know. Just going to try and make them all look a little more similar and tidy them up a bit. And, yeah. So I should probably go out, do a couple cool jumps and stuff, and then I'll pick it all up. All that just to turn around and pack it all up. So before I feel over it and don't want to do it anymore, I'm just gonna show you a little. Hang on a sec. Just needed to make a little adjustment to a camera. Anyway, so this pole, this is the pole that is in front of me. When I jump off of that, the pole's here in front of me. This has 3 cameras on it, but only 1 cable running to it. Because this has 2 PoE splitters, which is allowing me to plug in the 3 cameras into it. We've got this bottom camera down here, that's a 25 frames per second, 4 megapixel camera. That one's like a 3 megapixel camera, 20 frames per second. That's 1080p, 25 frames per second. And so that's the 3 cameras taped to that pole. And pretty much all of the cameras have some custom mounts I 3D printed and then taped on. This camera is, I'm pretty sure that's also a 4 megapixel. That one is a 3 megapixel. And you know, the sideways on there, they're both PoE powered individually. And then I've got a camera over here. Honestly, I should have put a better quality camera over here, or maybe the one with 2 cameras, but again, it's just a test, so it's not the most important part. Now I think we're about to enter another time lapse, just so that I can get what I need. Remember, this is all for a single photo. This almost all day I've been working on this. Well, over half of the day I've been working on this. And I'm going to get a single image out of it, but it's an important image, as mentioned before. So there's a couple, well, I got 6 angles of me falling over. Let's see how silly I looked. Some sink clamps. Okay, go. I'm doing a spin. Oh, look at me. Got the hands up like, yeah. Oh, look. I could have an air guitar there. You can almost see my bum there. There. Skip a few. I know the one I just did really hurt. What am I going to do? I'm going to fall. Ready? 3, 2, what? Look at that! Old Michael Jackson pose. Oh god. Yep, falling forward. I like this one. I think I might do one of these. Then falling back, yep. This is the one that hurt. I didn't even, look at that, I didn't get that far before I stepped off. Let's see. Oh, I took a little tumble. Oh god. Alright. So that's that. All of that work. I did all that work just to generate that little bit of content. Just the slim pickings of it. You didn't have to do anything. I did it all. Don't worry. Don't stand up. Please sit down. I don't need any help. It's fine. So, now I'm going to turn off the cameras so it stops recording. Then I'm going to extract that footage, pack everything up, and move to the computer. And I'll either, yeah. So in order to get the images I want, I'm doing it a really simple way and just clicking it myself. Hopefully that, oh, I'm just hoping that I at least, you know, get a few. Man, look at me, I look like a child just jumping and stuff. Ready? Let's see another one. Ready? Oh, it is sped up. Wow! Oh, it's funny watching it sped up. It definitely makes me look a lot younger. I can always go back and get more. I should set the click speed to increase. Oh, I missed that one. Dang it. That's alright. I didn't like how I looked. Alright, come on. Get to the next one. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Next one. Next. Yes, please. Whoop. Not very far. I didn't get very far at all. Control E. Does that do a lot at once? Or... That's right. That was the last one. Oh, that's alright. Just... Let's see. How many did Control E get? Like 1 or 2. So, you know, I won't be using Control E. And I'll just move on to the next file and... Oh no. You are you of the kidding me? Okay. What about this file? No. This file? Okay, this file. I'll do all that I can, and then of course I've got to figure something else out for the files that are... So the files I had originally downloaded didn't work, so I grabbed the NVR, I've just got it there on the bench and quickly connected it up with power and network. I've signed into it, I've got its... so I'm having to use all the, you know, software that's sort of built into it, which isn't ideal. It's not necessarily meant to be easy. It would be super easy if I was just doing it off of my phone, and that will be the next thing I try. If this doesn't work, what I'm doing is I'm using whatever its built-in stuff is to record it locally, and I'm just recording it as a different file type this time. But if that doesn't work, then I will use a phone, because I know that an app that's compatible with this, I know that it'll work in there. It's just, of course, you know, a couple extra steps. But it looks like that might even be the method I'm going to have to use anyway. Unless this is going to locally convert the file, because it's saving it right now as an H.264. Okay, just wait for this one. Well, last one to fall. Yep. Done. And it's all H.264. Even though I set it to be... maybe I just need to close it and open it again. Let's see. Local config. Settings. Got my specific one. Save as AVI. Apply. Let me double check that. See, look, it's not keeping that setting. Okay, that explains it. Okay then, well, I'm just going to use this phone that I keep as backup. I'm going to have to figure out all the settings and stuff that I'm going to use on there, and then I'll use that to copy the files. I plan to show you, which is why I went so in depth just a second ago, but this is the process. Just sitting here, and I have to watch this whole thing 6 times, but at least it does mean I get the file I want, and I can trim it a little bit shorter because I'm manually doing it. Can't think of an easy way to automate it without taking up a ton more time for a task that doesn't matter a whole lot. But yeah, and so I'm just gonna wait and then copy the files off of my phone.
This is much harder than it initially was meant to be. So unfortunately, looks like I've only captured this camera in SD, so I guess I've lost an angle, which is somewhat annoying, but yeah, I'll keep trying. Just going to give up on that angle. If I find that I am struggling with information that this angle could get, then I will go back and try, but I've already packed up the NVR and everything, and I guess 5 angles will do for now. The sheer amount of hours to get to this point, but I've finally got it. I've got the jumps here, so same point in time, but all the different angles, flattering or not, and I've, you know, got it in the different folders, and so I'm going to name each of the files, you know, exactly the same. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, because I want to see if I can skip a specific step in the process, because the cameras are not changing physical position. So hopefully I'm able to skip some data, skip some processing there, which will be great. Otherwise, well, the naming still helps. I've been playing with this data for a little while now, and I keep getting the same results. No images with matches found. I'm not 100% sure why it's not working. I mean, it's loading up the images. I had to make sure that they're all the same resolution and stuff. I don't know if does it not understand? Because there's that video of NVIDIA where they did it with 4 images, and here I've got 5. Okay, so I took a bunch of photos of my chair. Obviously, with all the light bloomage, these are terrible photos. Giving me this terrible result. It doesn't look very good at all. But, I don't know, I guess it's working? I guess I just didn't have enough angles before. And I'm just gonna keep trying it with slowly less and less photos and see how well I can get it to actually work. So this is the nerf, and considering the photos are pretty high and decent quality, yeah, this is kind of crap. Not really, no, not good enough. Looks absolutely terrible. This is annoying. Well, not annoying. This is disappointing. So I've used this camera, which means I've gotten some pretty dang high quality photos of this. Like, you know, that's a solid amount of detail that I can zoom in on just from the JPEG, which is admittedly what I'm feeding the software. But I'm not expecting, you know, these every little hair to be 3D modeled or anything. And well, this is the best result I can get. It looks like crap. It looks absolutely... Oh, it doesn't look the same. Photo would be easier, better. Man, this is just not great. And well, the thing is I've been online, I've been looking through some forums and stuff, and other people that have been playing around with this software that had some similar ideas to me, and well, they've all found the same results, that it is horribly overinflated. Those demos were not achieved with 4 images. It was later found that they had used dozens of images. Here I'm just using a small handful. Oh, that's Comet, sorry. I'm using 9 images, and you know, they're all high resolution images, all nicely in focused. All I wanted was this camera to be, you know, just nicely modeled. And look, it doesn't really even get any detail here. And let's see what, oops, let's see. Yeah, that's a fair amount of detail there. Yeah, look, I've got multiple images that is showing this specific area, and it's just completely absent in here because, I don't know, I guess because of the angle it's put. Here, let me turn the crop off. Crop. Oh, is that it? Oh. Okay, there we go. The crop is off and it looks worse. But I guess, yeah, if you're just on the right angle here, you see that? Like, as it just lines up, like you just get a bit of the detail of that area there. But I mean, look, in this photo, I can zoom right in. I can see letters. I can almost read this information here, and it wasn't lit properly or anything. It's purely window light just shining in onto the desk to there. And yeah, And this is the result. This is the result. This horrible mess. I don't know, some part of me thought that it was actually going to be somewhat decent, and I was very hopeful because it's NVIDIA. Why would it not be very good? So, you know, I guess that's just what it is. I mean, you can see it here in the background. It's still training, still trying to figure things out, and it's still sort of moving some things around, but it's not really going to improve much from this. There isn't really much more it can go. I mean, let's see. Let's get into the button here. Button here. Just a blurry mess. Easy to see on the photo. So, you know, with that said, it's easier to have a bunch of cameras take the photo all at the same time and use, you know, something else to just sort of fade in between the images, like the what do they call it? You know, the bullet time effect. Slight update on the RT thing. Well, basically, I got some network port plugs. I soldered it to it. I plugged in a network cable and found that there's more issues. So basically, I'm giving that up. I'm just going to buy an SDR at some point so that that can actually run it. And yeah. That's the end of that. Hope you like this whole thing. Heavily unedited. Now I'm about to take the camera out for the start of the next video.